Hi, I'm Don from DonDronesOn. This is sort of like 3 videos in one, covering 3 somewhat related topics. The first topic is some great news about the DPAC Safety Course. The second is, well, how did they manage to do this in the AIM? And finally, a tiny tidbit about our favorite getaway airport, Buttonville. Let's dive in. First, the good news. The brand new DPAC Safety Course has been accepted by Transport Canada as meeting the recency requirements for RPAS pilots' recurrent training. There's a mouthful. What does all this really mean? Well, your RPAS pilot certification, whether it's basic or advanced, is essentially valid for 2 years. And anytime you perform some sort of recency activity, it gets, well, more or less topped up for another 2 years of validity. You don't have to take the exam again, although you can. You don't need to redo your flight review. All you have to do is get refreshed on drone regulations and best practices according to a few simple things that TC lays out. Now, a lot of flight schools offer recency courses for a fee. I even sell one for $15. And Transport Canada even has their own, what they call a self-paced study program. It's free, and they give you the answers. But now, you have a new option, the DPAC Safety Course. It's free. It is absolutely bang on in terms of a great droning refresher, and it qualifies as recurrent training. Once again, refreshing your license for 2 years. By the way, we've updated the downloadable certificate that you get with the course to include the legalese that TC wants to see down here at the bottom. So if you completed the course before, I think it was October 11th, you may want to pop in and re-download your completion certificate. You don't have to do the quizzes again, just log in and download the certificate. The new certificate will reflect the same date as when you originally passed the course. Keep your certificate with your drone pilot certificate as proof of recency, either as a soft copy or print it off if you prefer. Naturally, I keep mine in Drone Pilot Canada, the purpose-built app for Canadian drone pilots. Okay, the second topic, the latest AIM document version. The AIM, or Aeronautical Information Manual, is a huge document published twice a year by Transport Canada. Its target audience is mostly manned aircraft pilots, but there's a dedicated chapter for RPAs, in other words, drones or RC aircraft. The intent of the AIM is to provide a plain language interpretation of the otherwise, well, rather cryptically written regulations. The RPA chapter is 34 pages long, and I would strongly recommend all Canadian drone pilots read the whole thing to have a pretty clear understanding of how Transport Canada interprets their own rules. There's a link in the description below this video for the latest RPAS chapter. And changes from one edition to the next are highlighted with a blue backdrop like this. The latest edition of the AIM was effective October the 5th, 2023, and appeared on the web the day before. As soon as it appeared, I quickly scanned it for changes. It took only 10 minutes because, well, it was so easy to read through the 10 changed sections. All but one of these changes are totally benign. Minor wording changes, a bit more detail, that kind of thing, all good. And so benign, it would be boring for me to go through them with you. Unfortunately, they messed up one change, here in section 3.4.1, described as a minor editorial change. This section is talking about advanced operations, and quite naturally it starts off with a definition of what constitutes an advanced operation. The problem is they changed the correct list of conditions to an incorrect list. Here's what it was before, and here's what it says now. For some unknown reason, they've removed the condition about being within 3 nautical miles of a certified airport. They have everything else there, but took this one clause out, even though it's in Regulation 901.62, which they reference. Now, I can almost understand how they could make this mistake. Most certified airports are in fact within controlled airspace, so Clause A basically covers it. The problem is there's a small number of certified airports that do not have control zones around them. Here's 3 examples I knew off the top of my head. Carp Airport near Ottawa, Gimli near Winnipeg, and Miramichi in New Brunswick. Now, if I know these off the top of my head, why doesn't Transport Canada, or at least the person who went to the significant effort to remove this clause, and then whoever reviewed and approved the change? Incidentally, in section 3.3.1 on the same page, and also in section 3.2.25, they have the advanced operations conditions stated correctly, so they weren't even consistent in their mistake. I immediately alerted Transport Canada of the issue on October the 4th. I fully described the problem, I received an automatic reply back, and then nothing. I've held off on putting this video out in the hopes that they would respond, but here we are over a week later, and crickets. No, we'll look into this. No, oops, you're right. Not even a, Don, you're an idiot. You need glasses. It actually is correct, and here's why. Nothing. But here's the thing that really ticks me off. This same error was made on the drone safety website way back in 2020. And also, in November of 2020, they put out a video published for the first Drone Safety Awareness Day. I alerted TC of the error way back then, and it was acknowledged, and the drone safety website was corrected. But I see the video is still out on YouTube with 800 views. Now, I get it. Mistakes get made, especially when documents are very first written. But this change was from right to wrong in a long-established section. So the folks in Transport Canada who are responsible for this chapter of the AIM, please set up a proper document review process with an independent subject matter expert reviewing all changes made. And I'll repeat what I have said every time I report errors in this incredibly important document. If you send me the final draft in advance, I will review the changes myself with a maximum of 24-hour turnaround for free. Hell, I'll probably get it done in less than an hour if you let me know when it's coming. It took me less than 10 minutes to spot this error this time. There's no downside to this. We all have the same objective, getting correct updates out there in a timely manner. Okay, the last topic, and this one is a happy one. Good old Buttonville Airport. Yeah, where the York Regional Police parked their drone on the glide path to runway 15 and boom, collided with a Cessna. Yada yada. Lots of videos talking about this, I know. Well, in the spring of this year, there were all sorts of stories buzzing around about something I called a soup Nazi established procedure at Buttonville. Basically a no flight for you scenario unless you paid something like $300 for some special training. Now, TC looked into it and confirmed this kind of procedure was not kosher, and I think they quietly sorted it out somewhere in the April timeframe. And there was never anything about this in the Canada Flight Supplement, the CFS, until now. Here's the little gem that appears in the latest update to the CFS, published on October the 5th. In the Procedures section of the listing for CYKZ Buttonville, a new procedure is announced. ARPA's established procedure in effect. Contact airport operator prior to operations. So, having no end of crust, I called up the OPR for Buttonville and asked what their established procedure for RPAs was, fully expecting the whole training beeswax. Well, I was pleasantly surprised when I got a call back in about an hour from a very polite gentleman named Russell. He said their established procedure was very simple. Call them up, like I just did, to give them a heads up about the intended drone operation so everyone could be properly aware. Exactly the way it should be. Congenial, cooperative, and safety-oriented. All good. So there we have it. 3 somewhat related updates for our drone community. The DPAC Safety Course is now good for recurrent training. The latest AIM document, well, nothing exciting, but one new error to watch out for. And number 3, finally some good news coming out of Buttonville. Catch you next time, but stay tuned for some lovely we roll, B-roll, with the spirit of we.